God our Father, creator of heaven and earth, thank you. You still give us the opportunity to believe in your Son, who gave his life for our sin. We are grateful to those who bless us with this event each year.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order, arms!
Well, good morning again. This is a special event for everyone at Farm Bureau because it gives us the opportunity to say thank you to our veterans for your service, to our country, and for protecting the freedom and liberty of the people of the United States of America. Your sacrifice and commitment to protecting the ideals of this great country are truly respected and cherished by all the team members of Farm Bureau. I have a personal story to share with you as an example of how the commitment that you and others have made to protect our country and our ideals, both here and abroad, have positively impacted the lives of millions of people, including my own. I'm the son of a Korean War veteran. In 1947, at the age of 17, my dad joined the Army National Guard as part of the 231st Combat Engineers in Grand Forks, North Dakota. He was a heavy machine operator. In 1951, he was called to serve in Korea and became part of the 822nd Engineer Aviation Battalion B Company based in Daegu, Korea. Or as Dad likes to say, he was part of B Double Deuce B Company. After a short stop at Wake Island on the way to Korea, Dad remembers flying into the airport near Seoul under heavy fire. In his words, we just about got blew out of the air. While in Korea for the better part of the year, he was part of the aviation engineers and built airstrips running heavy equipment, primarily a turnipole, an earth-moving machine. He was part of the team adding an airstrip for the Air Force fighter unit at the Daegu base. As Dad says, we basically tore down a mountain and built an airstrip. Dad was one of many Americans that did what they had to do unselfishly and at great personal risk to preserve freedom and liberty in South Korea and limit the spread of communism. Let's flash forward about 62 years to March 2012, my wife, Amy, and I are flying into the Icheon Airport in Seoul, South Korea. We are not flying in under duress like Dad did, but rather we are arriving into one of the best airports in the world. Absolutely amazing. This is a special trip to South Korea for my family and I because we are receiving my daughter, Maya. Maya was 18 months old at the time, and it is only by the grace of God that we were matched through the adoption process with a South Korean child. However, this adoptive process in Korea was only made possible because of my father and the other Korean war veterans who sacrificed so much to protect freedom of the American people and those abroad. These ideals are powerful. Maya is now 12 years old. She's about a mile away down the street, attending sixth grade class at Grace Lutheran School, and is a beautiful, lovely, and vibrant child and a huge blessing and part of our family. I refer to my story, this miracle, as the circle of life. The circle of life made possible by the men and women in this room and of our military who made the sacrifice and served our country so valiantly, preserving freedom and liberty both in America and in other lands. My family is one example of a family impacted by the bravery of the men and women of the U.S. military. On behalf of the Farm Bureau family, thank you for your service to our country. We will never forget the commitment and sacrifice that you endured to protect the people of this great country. Thank you. Earlier this year, we sponsored an essay contest across the state. We have the winners with us today. Presenting first will be Ava Paul, a fifth grader from CUNA.
I can't imagine what my life would be like if thousands of people like my family members didn't stand up for my freedom.
Okay, next up is Dallas Hutchings, a ninth grader from Rupert.
She has taught me patience, honor, courage, and commitment. It tells me every day to make sure I stand among others and feel proud to be an American. I'm very proud of you, Dad.
Our last award winner is Logan Diamond, 12th grader from Jerome.
He doesn't speak of Vietnam very often, but despite his humble silence, I know that his service has had a profound positive effect on my life.
I need to tell you a little bit about Richard. Richard Hollingsworth graduated from Pocatello High School and joined the U.S. Army in 1967. He served in Vietnam during the Tet Offensive as a door gunner and crew chief on the Huey transport and gunship helicopters. After Vietnam, he was stationed at Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio, Texas, as part of the 507th Med-Air Ambulance. The Secretary of Defense appointed this unit to initiate the Military Assistance to Safety and Traffic project to show the feasibility of using helicopters as ambulances. And it was this project that led to the Life Flight programs in the United States. Richard Hollingsworth also helped the Farm Bureau plan the very first Salute to Idaho Veterans event back in 2011. And at that first event, he was also our keynote speaker. Since then, Richard has been an integral part of all 10 Salute to Idaho veteran events. And we would like to take a moment to say thank you to Richard for all your help making this event possible and for your service to our country.
Brian Ish joined the United States Army in 1992 at the age of 17 as an infantryman. He served in various positions over the 20-year career, including Scout, Senior Scout, radio telephone operator, team leader, squad leader, instructor, drill sergeant, and a platoon sergeant. Didn't you get tired after a while? In 2010, while on a joint raid with the Afghan National Police in Kunduz Province, Brian was shot 3 times in the legs while attempting to save a wounded Afghan policeman. Though he endured debilitating pain and eventual amputation of his leg, Brian is the first to say, "This is not the worst that could ever have happened to me." Brian remained in the United States Army till 2012. Today he lives with his family in Wisconsin and participates in fishing tournaments and speaking engagements. Brian also has been highlighted in Netflix and the New York Times as a documentary of father, soldier, and son. Ladies and gentlemen, it's definitely with my pleasure to introduce you to the 10th Annual Farm Bureau Salute to Idaho Veterans Guest Speaker, Mr. Brian Ish.
I am from Wisconsin, so it would only be fitting that the guy that introduced me would get some cheese.
Oh.
Thank you. I did a lot of reading about you, and I'm honored to be in your presence. I got some shoes to fill, but luckily I only got to fit into one. It blows my mind that they asked me to come here and talk about myself. So they told me to keep it under 2 hours, and I'm going to talk about myself, and I'm going to tell you some lessons I learned along the way. My ex-wife said I'm really good at talking to people, so I didn't understand it until I was speaking at the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Rally, the regional rally, and there was probably 500 bikers in there. Big bearded guys, you know, kind of like you, like just raw. And after everybody was leaving, this one guy came up to me and he says, "Can I talk to you?" I said, "Absolutely." He said, "Thank you for taking the barrel out of my mouth." And my jaw just hit the floor. What? Like, that was my eye-opening thing. And why do I talk again? Is growing up, you know, my dad was in the Korean War area, but he never went to the war. My grandpa was in. I still got his enlistment papers from 1931, but they wouldn't talk about it. And I'm like, they're miserable. Like, why not talk about it? You can't keep that stuff bottled up. That's how you become angry. Like, I got anger issues, but I like to talk. And I got a whole audience that's just going to sit here and listen. But I was like, I'm not going to be that veteran. I need to talk. But we get orders for Obama's surge. We're going to go to Afghanistan as part of Obama's push of the 30,000 troops, if you all remember that. And our job in Afghanistan is to train the Afghan National Police to police their borders and defend their country. November 10th, 2010, we're going to do a deliberate raid on a Taliban-held village near Nari Sufi. And we crossed this river into a Taliban village, caught them by surprise. And we trained these Afghan police to, you know, we call it Afghan out front. So they were out front. It was their mission. We were following in support. And they get hit, and 25 Afghan policemen come running back. My driver says, "Sarge, there's still a guy out there." And sure enough, there's a guy out there writhing, and he got hit by one of the RPGs. And I said, "Hey, Lieutenant, you got to go get him." And he's like, "Nay, nay, 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 nay." Well, we're Americans, right? We don't leave anybody behind. So this is where thinking goes out the window. There was no thought process at this point in time. I just did what Brian does, what I've been trained to do. Cobra 6, Predator 7, I'm going. And this guy's missing, he's got ice cream scoop holes head to toe. I can't move him. So I start throwing a tourniquet on. I yell back to my medic, and I said, "I need another tourniquet." And then it was snap, snap, burn, chainsaw like you heard in the trailer. And I remember hearing the snap of the bullets, the high-pitched popcorn sound. I looked down. My left leg's filleted open like a walleye, for all you fishermen for visual aids. I had no idea I got hit in my right leg. But I looked down, and I'm like, holy beep, that just happened. I think it doesn't matter if you've been to combat or not been to combat. If you're a civilian, never been in the military. If you've had something traumatic happen in your life, and you come up to me and tell me that you've never thought of suicide, you're a damn liar. You're a damn liar, because I'll tell you what, I've thought about it. It'll never happen. I won't let it happen because I talk. And I use that as my coping mechanism. Try to understand that it doesn't matter how big your battle is or how small a battle is. You're fighting a battle, and I need to understand that. So if you have any questions, I'm here. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. And on the back of the small cards is a QR link to my website. I want to thank Farm Bureau for what they do for you guys, because I know as a veteran, I appreciate it. And I think they went over the top with what they're doing for you today, and I think it's absolutely amazing. So if we could get a round of applause for them.